Through the years, he's produced a catalogue of indigenous and African orchestral music, and the latest is an album called Gauteng Choristers, Khisimusi, Christmas in Africa. Dr. Khoza joins us now on the line, and in studio we're joined by the conductor in the project, Sidwell Mhlongo. We don't have video, so we're going to rely mostly on the music in the background, and we hope that will be a teaser enough for you. A very good morning, Dr. Khoza. Welcome and thanks for joining us. Merry Christmas to you.
Good morning, Desiree, and Merry Christmas to you, and may 2019 be particularly prosperous where you are concerned.
Thank you very much. An amazing project in an era where most of our Christmas music or entertainment is derived from international sources. Why did you bring this project about?
For quite some time, I have been thinking in and trying to create in a Pan-African context. And my departure point is Afrocentric. In other words, whatever I try to do with my life in the world, I take Africa as my point of departure. And there is an interpretation of Christ that I believe is characteristically African. And the music of S.J. Khoza is testimony to that. He composed in excess of 850 songs before he finally departed for the year after. And amongst his songs, there were no less than 80 that were spiritual songs, and of those, no less than 35 relate to Christmas.
Let's talk about the process of putting this project together. How did you decide on which talents to use? We see you have Sidwell Mhlongo, the conductor, who we have in studio and we'll be talking to in a bit. And you also have Mark Chain, who is the music arranger. Take us through the process.
Sidwell Mhlongo is very well known to music lovers of what one might call the more sophisticated, more demanding type, i.e. classical music. He has developed that kind of interest over a number of years. He and I actually met when I was chairman of ASCOM, but at the time I did not know that he had an abiding love for choral music. But later in life, I got to discover that. And it was at a time when Mark Chain and myself were embarked on trying to institutionalize and, if you like, immortalize S.J. Khoza, like the other classical composers have been immortalized. I mean, if you think of Mozart, for instance, if you listen to some of the songs that he composed about the animal kingdom, they remind you of an African version of a Mozart. So Mark Chain and I had embarked on this. I got to know him also when I was chairman of Nedbank, because he was friends with a harpist who we used to engage to come and entertain whenever we had dinners, farewell dinners in particular. So I got to know Mark Chain then. And right at the beginning, he showed a very, very keen interest to experiment with us on the technical orchestration, because I'm a producer, but I am not as technical as he is. I'm a producer in the sense that I once was a singer. I was a conductor of choirs, even as a student at high school. I formed a number of quartets and double quartets, quintets, and those kinds of formations. But Mark Chain is a trained musician. So the first experiment, the first collaboration, if you like, was with Medjiroya S.J. Khoza, which comprises 24 songs, amongst his best and most popular. But this was a major project, and the KwaZulu-Natal Philharmonic Orchestra performed the 24. It's a 70-piece orchestra, highly sophisticated, and that was to be followed by no less than another 6 jointly with him. And as for Sidwell Mhlongo, as I say, he's one of the best conductors in my assessment. Gauteng Choristers have competed in what used to be originally Fort Choirs and later on National Choral Festival. And on numerous occasions, he actually won through to the nationals, and his choir was crowned the national winner. So we're talking about people who are good at what they do. We have also worked with Mkhushu Choral, which has also performed that commendably. We have worked also with the University of Limpopo Choristers. They have also done commendable work. And your own SABC choir, we have in fact recorded one live performance with your particular choir at Studio One, which is one of your facilities.
This quest to bring about or to bring to light the works of S.J. Khoza, where did this interest start? And also, how are you planning to make sure that this amazing work that has been done in the background is out there and people know about it?
Well, if you're talking about school choirs, and those that competed in Fort Choirs and the National Choir Festival, as well as, in the SATS, they have contests. If you're talking about all of those, he's already extremely popular throughout the country, not just in the north where he was born, not just in Limpopo where he was born. So when choral music is concerned in schools, the police, choral competitions like Fort Choirs, CUM, in later years, the National Choir Festival, he is no stranger. But that alone would not institutionalize him. That alone would not make him acknowledged as the talent that I believe he is. With these recordings, the music is now downloaded throughout the U.S. and Western Europe. We have not heard of anybody who actually has developed interest in places like Japan, but one is looking at exploring that because I do work with some musicians from there, but the musicians of a different genre.
So somebody watching us today and thinking, what an amazing project, would like to get hold of the album, where is it accessible?
It is downloadable from YouTube, and many people have already accessed it there. But those who, like me, like listening to...
you still like hard copy?
They would like to have copies. Those, if they are in Johannesburg, they can actually call my office, and I could leave you with a number if that is permissible. They can call Johannesburg, which is 011-465-6666, and ask for Susan. Alternatively, ask for the younger one of my daughters, Munene, and they would make sure that they actually get the CDs. If they are from further afield like Limpopo, they can call that number as well, or even send me an email at rjk@akacapital.co.za. We will make sure that these are sent to them via the modes that one can make use of. Even the post office, there is a section that actually delivers that without much ado, deep into the rural areas. And we have done this with many people who were curious and keen to have the CD.
So if one were to choose one specific Christmas song which one would you say, because there's about 20 songs, a 2 CD album. What's your favorite for Christmas?
My favorite, if you want one that's more classical, it will be Nkulungwana Igonga. Ye people of the South, jubilate and rejoice with jubilation. Welcome Mary's Son, the Savior of the world, born not in a luxurious hospital but in a manger. That's the content of that song, Nkulungwana Igonga. But the title song, which is Khisimusi or Christmas in Africa, track 2, I really do like. That is available both in English and in Shangaan, but for the recording, it is in English. The English lyrics I wrote. The key message there is Christmas heralds the birth of Christ, the Son, the Deliverer. The glorious holiness of heaven has descended on the earth. Hallelujah unto Jehovah. That is in fact the key message of the song. I would say those two would, where Christmas is concerned, would actually carry the theme. But as you know, there are the 3 wise men from the east that actually went to pay homage to him, carrying all manner of frankincense and what today perhaps you could call, I think, stuff that actually make you smell well. You could actually go modern there, but they were actually known for that, and that was reserved for.
I was thinking royalty. I want to finish this off and then.
So Tintlari Busheni would also be very, very melodious, very entertaining. So if you had time to play 3, I would say those top 3 would actually do it.
Dr. Khoza, thank you so much for taking time in your Christmas day to talk to us. But just to finish off 2 things for me, how do we encourage African artists to create content for Christmas as you have done, and what will that mean in terms of encouraging Africans in terms of their identity, number 1, and lastly, as a leader, you're a business leader recognized locally, continentally and internationally. What would your Christmas message be?
Oh, my Christmas message would be let there be peace on earth, because that is what Christmas is about. Let people actually develop not only competence, but they should actually develop an ethical value system. And it is by way of having competence which is predicated on morality that this country would in fact be saved. I would exhort in particular our leaders that whatever they do by way of providing leadership to us, they should actually make sure that it is ethical leadership. Because there is such a thing as effective bad leadership, such as we had in Hitler. There is effective bad leadership, such as we had in Robert Mugabe, who was very, very intelligent, very persuasive, drove the political economy of Zimbabwe up initially during the first 5 to 10 years, but following that drove it straight into the ground and destroyed it. So you can lead by way of misleadership, such as those 2 that I've cited. There are many more. But I would suggest that we actually pluck a list from such leaders as Nelson Mandela, from such leaders as Sisulu, who I had occasion to spend some time with and learned a great deal from. Let our leaders be humble. Let them be competent. Let them shun corruption, and let them embrace ethical and moral leadership. And where talent is concerned, I would suggest we actually explore the various genres for purposes of not merely be rhythmic and be amenable to dancing too, but use music to convey ethical values, to convey morality.
We thank you very much for your time. How are you spending your Christmas?
We down at the family farm near Hazy View at a place called Tipasol. And as you might know, we have invested quite a fair bit here, and as things stand now, we export avocados for both ourselves as well as the growers surrounding us. And if you look at it in that context, we pack up to, in fact, this year, just under 3 million trays.
Oh,
that
wow.
makes us the second largest exporter of avocados from Africa to Europe.
Well, we're glad to hear it's been a productive year for you, and we wish you the best for the new year. Thank you so much for making the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much, Desiree, and best wishes to you and your colleagues there, as well as your family. And may the year 2019 be particularly rewarding and prosperous for you all.
Thank you so much. A conversation with Dr. Reuel Khoza can never be about one thing, although in this instance it was about his work producing the Gauteng Choristers in a CD called Khisimusi, Christmas in Africa. There, the former chairperson of ESCOM, former chairperson of Nedbank, Dr. Reuel Khoza. We joined now in studio. We spoke about you a lot in the conversation. Sidwell Mhlongo. Sidwell, you're also from the SABC, aren't you?
Yes, I work for SAFM. I do classical music there. Yeah.
Tell us about the awards you have won with the Gauteng Choristers.
Well, Gauteng Choristers is a choir that is 20 years old.
Yeah.
We've entered one of the biggest competitions in the country, which is the National Choir Festival competition, several years. Actually, we've done it for all the years that the Gauteng Choristers has existed.
Yeah.
And we have won the competition 4 times already. We've won different categories. There are different categories in the competition. The standard category, which is for smaller choirs. Yeah. And then we won the large category, which was for bigger choirs. And we won the Champ of Champs, which was for the big choirs. So we have gone through all these categories in the National Choir Festival, and we've won the competition so many times, and other competitions as well.
What separates them from the SABC choir?
Well, the SABC choir is a choir that is based for at the SABC, and it does work for the SABC. Our Gauteng Choristers choir is a choir for the community. We do work in the community, we do social events, we do competitions, and we do all the things that are required in choral music.
Dr. Reuel Khoza had amazing things to say about you.
Yes, he's
he
very fond of us. Yeah, well, he is, I'm sure, yes, because we've done so well. Gauteng Choristers is the pinnacle of choral music in South Africa.
Yeah.
There are very good choirs in South Africa, and we rank amongst the best of them. So yes, he was telling the truth about us. Yeah.
What brought about Christmas in Africa? This
well, Dr. Reuel Khoza is the one who contacted me and said, Sidwell, I've got a project that I wanted to do with you. You being such a wonderful choir. There are songs by S.J. Khoza, who's the composer, and that are spiritual songs, Christmas songs, and I'd like to do the project with you. So we agreed to do the project, and we found that the music in there was great. I mean, we couldn't have gone for better music than this. So we were very excited.
What was it like doing it? I know we've spoken to Reuel, we've spoken to you, but there's also the entire choir. What was the sense during the recordings, the transition from the singing part to the orchestral part and bringing the two together?
Well, it's amazing because we had to do this thing in a short space of time.
Yeah.
We did it in 2 days. All the 24 songs, we did them in 2 days.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the kind of energy that there was in the studios for the choristers to learn the music so quickly and to be able to gel with the orchestra as quickly as they did and to make this sound so great as it does.
But he said it's available online. But how come it's not out there? Why are we not hearing the music on radio?
Choral
why is
music
it not popular?
Yeah, choral music is not marketed as much as the other genres of music.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we have this opportunity to talk about it on SABC, which is a national TV, to promote this kind of music. I also think that if given an opportunity, we should do more as choral music musicians.
Absolutely.
And promote our music widely, because this CD is brilliant. I think a person who can get a hold of it is going to enjoy the music. It's of high quality, great musicianship, and the compositions are good, all of them. The SJ Khoza was very good.
Tell us about your colleagues while you were working, putting it together. Who made a mark on you? Tell us about Mark Chain.
Well, Mark Chain is the guy who actually orchestrated the whole CD. SJ Khoza wrote the choral pieces, but they were all a cappella, you see. So Mark Chain is the guy who wrote the orchestration for all the pieces. And he's a great guy. He came to work with us, 2 rehearsals, and he was very impressed with us, and he imparted a lot of knowledge in the music. So it was great working with him, and also mixing the CD, and eventually after recording, it was so great working with him.
The rest of the choir?
Well, the choir, the choir is always amazing. It's Gauteng Choristers is a family, so being with them is always a great thing, a great time. We always have a great time with them, and they appreciated the project so well, because we were singing in a language. Shangaan is not a very popular language, so we were working in a language that everybody was so interested to find out, what does this word mean? What does this mean, and how do you pronounce it? It was so great.
So it was also education in the
Yes,
process.
it was educational as well.
So, how are you spending your Christmas?
Well, after here, I'm going to see my mom and my brother, so we'll be together.
So family.
Yes.
Yeah. Sidwell, it's an amazing project. We hope to hear more and more of it out there.
Yeah.
But Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you, and
Sidwell
thanks for having
Mhlongo
me.
is the conductor of this amazing project, Gauteng Choristers, Khisimusi, Christmas in Africa. We hope you're able to get a hold of it, especially because it's available online. Thanks again.
Thank you.
And we continue with the show. Now in the DRC, Kinshasa's new Cardinal, Fridolin Ambango, led Christmas Day Mass at St. Benoit Church in the district of Lemba. Earlier this year, security forces clamped down on protesting churchgoers opposing President Joseph Kabila. One person was killed at the small church